Hells Angels Motorcycle Club is a well-known international organization that has a history of violent behavior and ties to crime. Do you know which Hells Angels hitman was the most dangerous, despite the fact that individual members have been charged with crimes including assault and drug trafficking? In this video, we will talk about Yves Trudeau, who is considered as the most dangerous hitman of Hells Angels. Let's find out. Trudeau did not look like your usual biker. He was clean-shaven, had short hair, and stood less than 6 feet tall, but he was the Hells Angels' most prolific murderer despite this. Trudeau's assistance was routinely used by the Irish-Canadian West End gang, led by Frank "Dunny" Ryan, to eliminate their rivals. This group controlled the port of Montreal and, as a result, the entry of drugs into Quebec. Between September 1970 and July 1985, Trudeau admitted to killing 43 individuals. He was the first Canadian Hells Angels to get the Filthy Few patch, which is purportedly given to club members who have committed club-related murder. Trudeau murdered 18 of the 23 outlaws killed in the struggle between the Hells Angels and the Outlaws between 1978 and 1983 for control of Montreal's drug trade. Langton described Trudeau as the most lethal assassin for the Angels and a psychopathic killer who was also a killing machine par excellence. Dubrow said of Trudeau, "He had absolutely no conscience, no respect for human life at all." Trudeau began heavily abusing cocaine to help him carry out his murders. The majority of the hitmen I've met have been cokeheads, and they typically coke up before doing the killings, said Dubrow, which makes it a bit simpler. Although not all of them do, hitmen frequently use drugs and alcohol. Trudeau stated in 1985 that Alan the Weasel Ross, the successor of West End gang leader Frank "Dunny" Ryan, had promised to pay him $200,000 to get rid of Ryan's killers and that he had received $25,000 in advance. After killing April and Lalive, Trudeau attempted to collect the remaining $200,000, but Ross advised him to go get it from the Hells Angels chapters in Halifax and Sorel instead, promising to forgive their debts in exchange for Trudeau receiving the money. David "Wolf" Carroll, the head of the Halifax Hells Angels chapter, gave Trudeau $98,000. Carroll discovered afterward that Trudeau had used the extra funds to support his cocaine addiction and that the Laval chapter was actually entitled to 1/4 of the funds. Trudeau's actions were viewed as particularly obscene because the Halifax chapter was significantly less wealthy than the Laval chapter. The Lennoxville massacre in March 1985 was directly caused by Trudeau's theft from the Halifax chapter. The anger that many Hells Angels already felt toward North Chapter members was only heightened by Trudeau's theft from the Halifax chapter. The North Chapter bikers offended the other Hells Angels by being too wild and unruly, in their opinion. They were suspected of defrauding other chapters of drug proceeds and frequently utilized the substances they were meant to sell. Lessard made the decision to dissolve the North Chapter, which would become known as the Lennoxville Massacre in motorcycle history. Before we continue, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. On March 24, 1985, a meeting was scheduled at the clubhouse of the Sherbrooke chapter in Lennoxville. 5 North Chapter members were killed there, wrapped in sleeping bags, and dropped in the St. Lawrence River after being shot to death. The Montreal South chapter accepted the others and permitted them to continue living. Trudeau was scheduled to attend the conference, but the previous week he had engaged in a detoxification program. Later, he said he wanted to get clean since he was aware of what happened to the group members who continued to use drugs. As soon as word of the North Chapter massacre reached Trudeau at Oka's detox facility, a representative of the Montreal chapter paid him a visit. Trudeau was informed that the club had kicked him out. Trudeau admitted guilt to 43 counts of manslaughter in 1985. Which means that in the eyes of the Crown, he did not intend to kill his 43 victims, of whom 29 perished from gunshot wounds, 10 from bomb injuries, 3 and 1 respectively. The police believe that 30 to 35 of his victims were members or supporters of other motorcycle gangs. In his testimony, Trudeau covered 15 attempted murders and an additional 40 homicides. The worth of the plea argument the Crown made with Trudeau has been questioned, according to Conservative Senator Pierre Hughes Beauvenu, who stated, "Trudeau didn't have to battle for his money. He didn't have to fight to be properly treated. We have to spend millions of dollars on these programs. Many of the criminals who turned informants will end up recidivist because they take advantage of protection that isn't available to victims." Trudeau was given a life sentence with a 7-year parole eligibility period as part of his contentious deal with the government. Along with the $35 per week for cigarettes, the government agreed to give him $40,000 over the following 4 years. So this was all about the most dangerous hitman of the Hells Angels. Do let us know your views in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe.